Hey there, welcome to East and West. Let's talk about Firestorm. Starring and produced by veteran Hong Kong actor Andy Lau, this 2013 police-based action film was in fact used to open up a number of domestic film festivals upon its premiere. The film follows Lau's character, a high-ranking officer in Hong Kong, as he tries to hunt down a gang of domestic terrorists led by a man named Cao Nam. Unfortunately for Lau, Nam's group is not only practically untouchable, but also has access to enough of an arsenal to probably go head-to-head with an entire army and make it out alive. And when rumours of a full-scale attack start rising up, it's up to Lau and the rest of the force to try and stop them without letting too many innocents die before it happens. Now, to be fair, there is more to the story than simply what I just said. But, in my defense, even the movie doesn't care about its plot that much. And frankly, you can tell that just from the opening. After less than 5 minutes of what only the most generous person might even remotely consider referring to as a backstory, the film dispenses with a whole charade and heads straight bang into the action. Quite literally, in fact. Now, to the film's credit, the action scenes in this are actually pretty damn awesome. Which is good, considering they make up about 80% of the entire film. There's also a very good mix of action types as well. There's gunfights, fistfights, chases. The film definitely doesn't get boring to look at. And for the most part, they're done pretty well and are actually really intense. Even if they can get a little bit ridiculous at some points. And their bones would be powderized, but you know what, it's Hollywood, we can roll with it for the time being. The final shootout is equally as ridiculous. It's a full 15 minutes long, and quite frankly, I've seen less bullets flying in a multiplayer FPS. Something that I noticed that I found quite intriguing was exactly how well this film excels at showing power. At various points in this movie, there's like car crashes, or explosions, or sometimes it's even just people falling. And I don't quite know exactly how they're doing it, but the level of sheer force that comes through, you can almost feel the impacts as they happen here. This is some of the best scenes like that I've seen in any film, and I'd almost recommend watching this film just simply because of those scenes. They are astoundingly good. Which makes it really disappointing whenever they decide to CG in parts of the action. Partially that, and also because the CG in this film is... possible. However, while that's all good, the film has one singular but kinda pretty big drawback. The characters. There aren't any. Yeah, kind of a big problem. One of the basic rules of writing that constantly gets touted around is that if you're writing action, any sort of drama or tension or excitement stems from the fact that you want one of the sides to succeed. The problem, however, is that in this film, you can't, because the people with names, as it were, are some of the most stereotypical, flavorless, uninteresting, lifeless, faceless... I didn't even feel comfortable calling them characters. Alright, because that might imply that there is something actually there to them. And there isn't. So, instead I'm just going to call them exactly what they are in this movie. They are cogs. That's really the best way I can describe what the people are in this film. They are segments of the device. They are completely trivial parts. They are chess pieces and ghost stones. They are purely functional products without any distinguishing features between the two. They are machines that exist only to drive the plot, and nothing else. So if you like there to be actual characters in your action films, look far away from here. Seriously, I cannot stress enough how much of absolutely nothing there is about these people. And while some may argue that a lot of action films have characters that are stereotypical or one-dimensional, I would say yes, but they're not usually this unmemorable. There is a character that appears about halfway through this film, alright? And when I first saw them there, I legitimately could not remember if I had seen them earlier on in the film. And then, when I saw this film a second time, I still could not remember if I had seen them earlier on in the film. Every other person in this film acts and talks the exact same way. There is almost no distinguishing features between any of these characters at all. In fact, up until the last half hour of this film, there was only two characters I was consistently able to recognize. Lau's character, and the only female in the entire movie. Everyone else? Nothing. Even the villain of the film is so bland that they have to resort to the most basic and cliched storytelling methods imaginable to try to convince us that he's evil. And yet it just fails so spectacularly that it might be sad if it wasn't just irritating in its obviousness. And frankly, that's what actually makes this film worse, because the level of blandness that these cogs have, it doesn't stem from lack of trying. They in fact do have motivations and character arcs spread throughout this film. And yet they all just fail miserably because they're all done in the stalest and most unemotional way you can think of. And while I'm going to avoid spoilers for those of you who are still interested in this film, I do have to talk about the ending. Without giving anything away, let me just say that the ending to this film is one of the most disappointing and frankly almost insulting Deus Ex Machinas of an ending I've ever seen. In the last 5 minutes, one of the failed story arcs that's been running through this film eventually gets to the resolution, and if this were a better made film, this should be the grand moment of redemption for one of the characters. However, what little of that actually does exist in this film is pulled down instantly in the stupidest and most ridiculous, quite literally out of nowhere plot twist I could possibly imagine. They could not have failed this ending anymore if they were trying. All in all, if all you care about in an action film is simply the action, you'll probably end up enjoying this one. But if you're someone who wants something that's even the tiniest bit more than that, then I can't recommend this film even slightly. I give this film 3 assault rifles and 2 car crashes. So that was my review of Firestorm. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching. Till next time.